listen to Tempered Musings in Turo, TMNT for short, because we cool like that. This whole election ordeal, I am a bit confused by it. Obviously, everybody is entitled to their own opinion, hence what I'm doing here today. I'm struggling to understand the frame of mind of people who voted for Donald Trump, regardless of how good of a president you think he was for his last term. Just the presidency, yeah, you can look at that. But the mere fact that he did not have a peaceful exchange of power to his successor, that in and of itself, to me, makes him unfit as a candidate for presidency. That kind of behavior is a threat to our democracy and our nation. We all are different from person to person, from city to city, from county to county, from state to state. And we are all one nation under God, supposedly indivisible, because we understand that this nation works best as one nation under God, indivisible. So to me, being an American, the America I was raised to believe we lived in, comes down to respect. You know, we understand we are different. We are in agreement that democracy is the best thing for us as Americans. That at the end of the day, this only works if we all do it together. And clearly we have lost that perspective on things. To me, a vote for Donald Trump is indicative of a lack of empathy in a person, in a lack of ability to empathize with somebody who is different from you, who has a different life. A failure to recognize that every other person has a life and a vibrancy of their experience the same as you. They still want to be free. They still have love in their hearts, and they care about their families, and you know, they need to be able to provide for their families. The concept of discriminating against a person for things completely out of their control is kind of foreign to me. I thought it was foreign to all of us in this great nation, indivisible. I don't know if anybody remembers 2020, the pandemic. I don't know how I feel about using this example, but the restaurant industry really pulled through for Americans. However you feel about the efficacy of masks and, you know, whether mask mandates were an infringement on your freedom as an American human, all that aside, it was super nice to be able to still have access to all of these different kinds of foods. The richness of, you know, still being able to enjoy that aspect of life. Diversity is what made that possible. And each and every person contributing to that cause of getting people good food, despite us all being locked in our houses. Delivery people and postal workers being able to still get your mail was super fucking important. I live in a small town, and I think, you know, 2 weeks ago, like, one of their staff was sick or something, and like our mail has been kind of behind for several days. Like, my informed delivery stuff from like last Friday is like still hasn't come to my mailbox. And you know, small town, so there's a bigger impact there. But on a larger scale, I think we all recognize like the dismantling of delivery stuff, having, you know, trade across the oceans and through state lines and stuff, you know, that was impacted because there weren't the people to do the jobs. People were dying. So yeah, Donald Trump as president, you know, is like a convicted felon or something. He is a traitor to the American people and the American, you know, the United States. I don't understand why we would have an insurrection on the Capitol. It was violent. You know, his own vice president was in danger. Scary shit. The justice system doesn't apply to him, I guess, because the people he put in the Supreme Court said so. I don't know. We have elected a traitor to the American people into the highest office in the country. I don't understand that. Is it just because we didn't want a woman in that seat? We'd prefer a felon over a woman. I'm not saying she was the best woman to have as a candidate, but she's not a convicted felon. She didn't hold an insurrection on our nation's capital because she refused to hand over the office to the person that the American people decided they wanted in there. I'm not gonna go into Joe Biden as a president either, you know, whatever. Just failing to comprehend what the frame of reference is, what kind of thinking goes into that. Maybe you can help me in the comments or something. I'm not looking to have arguments or a big fight. I'd just really like to understand that way of thinking. I'm not saying I'll adopt it because he is an American traitor, but I do not understand, and I'd like to. Diversity is what makes our nation great. Every person is important. And undocumented immigrants, they are here too. You know, a lot of them are still paying taxes, but they have no right to the services offered because of those taxes, you know, because they don't have a social security number. My apologies to Professor Moore, but I think I was supposed to read the book Being There. I know John Krasinski is not the author, but that's what's coming to mind. But just the idea that, like, if you don't have documentation that you're, like, not a real person, like, if you don't have documents to support, like, your birth certificate, your social security number, like, what schools you went to when you were a kid, like, if there's no paperwork to prove that you are who you say you are, then suddenly you're not real. You're not a real person. That's a scary thought. So I think it's kind of fucked up to treat people who are undocumented in the United States as if they don't matter, because, you know, they're doing work here. They're paying taxes. They don't get the benefit of those taxes, you know, except for like the roads or whatever. But every person is important, whether you consider them an American or not. People in America are Americans. They make the system work. All of this comfort. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. I've been talking too long. I am willing to have a discussion in the comments. I'm not about to argue. I would like to understand. So, I'm gonna leave it there. You guys have a good day. Be good to each other. Be good to yourselves and be good to each other. Treat people like people.